The Oversoul does not choose Cancer to become emotional. It chooses Cancer to remember what emotion truly is. Emotion is not reaction, not mood, not fragility. Emotion is the oldest language the Oversoul ever created. It is the first current that moved through the earliest expressions of consciousness before form. Before time, before identity shaped its own echo. When the Oversoul sends one of its rays through the Cancer tone, it is selecting a curriculum of memory carried through feeling. It is choosing the realm where the hidden becomes known, not through sight but through resonance. Cancer is the tone where the soul learns to read the waters that it once ignored, and in doing so it reclaims pieces of itself that were never lost, only buried beneath the noise of physical experience. To incarnate through Cancer is to walk through a world that speaks in subtleties. Most people hear the words others speak, but the Cancer tone hears the intention beneath them. Most people sense mood, but the Cancer tone senses origin. It feels where a person's emotional movement was born, not where it lands. This sensitivity is not weakness. It is ancient Oversoul technology expressed through the human vessel. The Oversoul uses Cancer to teach emotional translation. It teaches how to hold another being's inner tides without drowning in them, and how to understand the messages rising from one's own depths without misidentifying them as the self. Cancer learns quickly that emotion is not identity. Emotion is memory in motion. It is the Oversoul passing information through the body that the conscious mind cannot yet interpret on its own. The Cancer tone carries the learning of sanctuary, not the sanctuary others build for it, but the sanctuary it must build within itself. This tone draws souls who need to understand safety from the inside out. Many lifetimes through the Cancer path begin with instability, fragmentation, inconsistent belonging, or emotional unpredictability. The Oversoul permits these openings not out of cruelty, but to activate the inner architecture the soul came to refine. Cancer must learn how to generate safety instead of searching for it, because the soul cannot carry its highest purpose until the emotional body becomes a vessel strong enough to hold the Oversoul's messages without distortion. What looks like sensitivity is actually calibration. What looks like withdrawal is actually translation. Cancer steps back not to escape, but to feel without interference. It is the only way this tone can hear the memory within the emotion. When the Oversoul chooses Cancer, it also chooses lineage work. Few tones carry ancestral memory as directly as this one. Cancer absorbs the unused emotional residue of the family line, not as burden but as blueprint. The Oversoul uses this tone to close cycles that other generations could not complete. The Cancer tone awakens with a knowing that does not come from its own life. And this knowing carries traces of old grief, old silence, old fear, old love, and old promises made by souls who left their work unfinished. The Cancer incarnation is designed to feel what others suppressed. This is why Cancer people often believe they are too emotional. They are not. They are carrying more emotional data than the average human, because they have been entrusted with resolving currents that originated long before they were born. The mastery of Cancer is the ability to feel without identification. The soul learns to sense the ancestral memory rising through its chest without assuming that the memory is its own. It learns to feel the sorrow in a room without confusing it for personal sadness. It learns to hear its intuition without mistaking it for fear. This refinement is slow at first, because physical life does not teach humans how to hold their emotional body with clarity. But once Cancer begins to understand the difference between the emotion that belongs to it and the emotion that is simply passing through, everything changes. The soul begins to reclaim its power. The emotional body becomes a compass instead of a storm. The Oversoul can speak more directly because the vessel is no longer overloaded with borrowed vibrations. Cancer also learns the laws of belonging, not the superficial belonging of group identity, but the deeper belonging that arises when the soul remembers that it is connected to everything it feels. Many who carry the Cancer tone feel like outsiders early in life. They sense the world intensely but cannot articulate why they feel what they feel. They often believe they are out of place or misunderstood. In truth, they are tuned to frequencies that others have not yet learned to interpret. The Oversoul uses this early displacement to develop discernment. Cancer must learn that belonging is not granted by others. Belonging is reclaimed by remembering the self. When Cancer learns to stand inside its emotional truth without shrinking or apologizing, it emits a resonance that naturally attracts those who can meet it at depth. True belonging arrives as a consequence of emotional honesty. The shadow expressions of Cancer are predictable, but necessary for growth. Oversensitivity emerges when the emotional body has not yet learned boundaries. Withdrawal appears when the soul feels a wave of resonance but does not yet have the tools to interpret it. Mood fluctuation arises when the soul is translating ancestral memory without understanding its source. None of these states are failure. They are indicators that the emotional body is mid-training. The Oversoul expects the soul to pass through every one of these states as it grows into its tone. Cancer is designed for depth, not surface. The emotional fluctuations often seen in early stages are simply evidence that the soul is reading more data than its conscious mind can yet organize. Over time, the currents stabilize. The emotional field becomes strong, clear, and perceptive. The soul learns that depth is not a burden. It is a form of wisdom. Cancer carries the Oversoul's memory of protection. This is why its instinct is to guard the vulnerable, nurture the wounded, and shield those who cannot yet protect themselves. But true mastery arises when Cancer learns that protection is not the same as carrying others' burdens. There is a difference between compassion and absorption. Early in life, the Cancer tone often absorbs what it feels. Later, it learns to hold what it feels without merging with it. This is where the Oversoul's teaching becomes precise. Cancer must learn the art of containment. It must learn how to offer sanctuary without sacrificing its own well-being. The Oversoul does not place Cancer in a life to become drained by others. It places Cancer to teach others what emotional safety actually feels like. But the soul cannot teach what it has not mastered, so its early years become a training ground for distinguishing what belongs to it and what does not. Intuition is the highest gift of the Cancer tone. This intuition is not prediction, nor is it fear disguised as foresight. True Cancer intuition is the Oversoul speaking through the emotional body with absolute clarity. It is the ability to sense the trajectory beneath a situation, the motive beneath a word, the intention beneath an action, the truth beneath a silence. This intuition is so natural to Cancer that it often assumes everyone feels reality this clearly. They do not. Cancer forgets that its sensitivity is a result of Oversoul calibration. It is a rare skill, but the soul must learn to trust it. Many Cancer beings dismiss their intuition in youth because they confuse it with emotional reactivity. Over time, the Oversoul teaches them to separate instinctive awareness from the noise of immediate emotional response. When this separation is made, the intuition becomes unstoppable. The Oversoul chooses Cancer when it wants the soul to learn how to navigate the world through inner signals rather than external validation. This tone cannot rely on surface appearances. It cannot rely on social logic. It cannot rely on consensus reality. Cancer is built to feel the unseen and respond to that truth, even when no one else understands why. This is the path of the ancient navigators, the path of those who followed the stars by instinct rather than measurement, the path of the beings who understood the tides by listening rather than calculating. Cancer embodies this lineage. Its strength is not reason. Its strength is resonance. The Oversoul uses Cancer to return the human experience back to the wisdom that existed before intellect became dominant. In relationships, Cancer carries a depth that few can match. This tone bonds through emotional truth, not performance or surface compatibility. Cancer senses whether a connection is real long before it can articulate why. The Oversoul uses relationships as a mirror to refine this sensitivity. Cancer learns through connection where its own boundaries need reinforcement, where its emotional body needs healing, and where its intuition is calling it to move. The relationships that challenge Cancer the most are the ones that teach it the most about itself. Eventually, the soul learns that emotional vulnerability is not danger. It is the gateway to deeper intelligence. Cancer discovers that its true power is not in guarding the heart, but in allowing the heart to remain open without losing autonomy. As the soul matures, the Cancer tone becomes one of the most stabilizing forces in the zodiac. When its emotional body is refined, it becomes a vessel of clarity for everyone around it. The Oversoul flows through it without resistance. The soul becomes a living sanctuary that others can trust instinctively, not because it hides its truth, but because it has learned to hold truth gently. This is the true mastery of the Cancer tone. The soul learns how to carry the Oversoul's emotional memory without becoming overwhelmed, without losing identity, and without collapsing under the weight of ancestral resonance. Emotional depth becomes strength, sensitivity becomes wisdom, intuition becomes direction, and belonging becomes a natural consequence of living in alignment with the inner waters, rather than resisting them. The Oversoul shapes the Cancer path with one primary intention: to refine emotional intelligence into emotional authority. Not authority over others, but authority over the internal tides that rise and fall with every unspoken memory. Many incarnations through the Cancer tone begin with an overwhelming sense of responsibility for the emotional states of others. This is an early distortion of the tone's true purpose. The soul has not yet learned that feeling another person's unspoken pain does not mean it must resolve it. The Oversoul allows this confusion as a catalyst. When Cancer attempts to carry more than it was designed to hold, it eventually confronts the limits of emotional merging. That confrontation is not failure. It is the moment where the soul begins to distinguish compassion from entanglement. It is the moment that awakens emotional sovereignty. It requires the ability to witness another being's inner landscape without losing the map of one's own. Many Cancers spend early life navigating emotional territories that do not belong to them. They interpret these sensations as personal wounds, when in truth they are detecting patterns that originated in parents, grandparents, siblings, partners, or even older generational lines. This misidentification can lead to internal conflict, self-doubt, and emotional instability. But the Oversoul uses this confusion to sharpen discernment. With time, Cancer begins to notice subtle differences in resonance. It learns to feel what is self and what is ancestral. It learns to sense what is personal truth and what is inherited pattern. This recognition is the threshold of mastery. Mastery deepens when Cancer discovers how to regulate the internal waters without suppressing them. Suppression has never been the purpose of this tone. Suppression is a misunderstanding, created by environments that do not know how to hold emotional intelligence. Many Cancers learned early to hide their depth in order to avoid being told they were too sensitive, too reactive, too much. Yet no soul enters the Cancer tone to become smaller. The Oversoul intends the opposite. It wants the emotional body to expand until it becomes capable of receiving Oversoul communication without distortion. The pain of suppression teaches Cancer that hiding its inner truth fractures the emotional body. When the soul stops shrinking to comfort others, the waters inside begin to flow again. Clarity returns. Intuition becomes sharp. Emotional guidance becomes unmistakable. Cancer also learns the rhythm of cycles. No other tone understands the rise and fall of internal states with the same precision. Early on, this rhythmic nature can feel like inconsistency. Some days the soul feels deeply connected, intuitive, and open. Other days it retreats inward, silent and reflective. The Oversoul uses these internal seasons to train the soul in the art of attunement. Cancer must learn how to trust its own cycles without apology. Each emotional shift is a signal. Each inward pull is a recalibration. Each outward expansion is a release. When Cancer stops labeling its cycles as weakness and begins recognizing them as its internal compass, the emotional body integrates more fully with Oversoul movement. This union is one of the highest accomplishments of the Cancer path. The Oversoul also uses the Cancer tone to develop memory retrieval through feeling. Other tones may rely on logic, intuition, or vision. Cancer accesses memory through emotional resonance. When something feels significant, familiar, or heavy, it is often because it carries an echo from another timeline, another incarnation, or another branch of the Oversoul. Cancer does not imagine patterns, it detects them. But the human personality often lacks the context to understand why a particular moment, person, or environment triggers such intensity. With practice, Cancer learns to decode these signals instead of fearing them. A sudden wave of sadness may be an inherited pattern finally surfacing for release. A moment of intuition may be the Oversoul reminding it of a choice already made in another realm. A deep sense of protection toward another person may come from a contract that originated long before physical birth. Emotion becomes the bridge between worlds. The Cancer tone is also entrusted with teaching others what emotional safety feels like. When Cancer reaches maturity, its presence alone can calm chaotic fields. It emits a frequency of understanding that invites authenticity. Others feel they can be unfiltered around Cancer without judgment or consequence. This is the power of a refined emotional body. But Cancer must learn to wield this gift without becoming the emotional anchor for everyone else. The Oversoul teaches balance by placing the soul in situations where giving too much becomes draining. These moments reveal the necessity of boundaries. Boundaries are not barriers. They are clarity. They are how Cancer protects the purity of its emotional field. When Cancer learns to create boundaries without guilt, it becomes a stabilizing force rather than a vessel overwhelmed by others. Many people misunderstand the protective nature of Cancer. They interpret its caution as fear, its intuition as paranoia, and its emotional depth as fragility. The Oversoul uses these misunderstandings to sharpen the soul's discernment between external opinion and internal truth. Cancer is not designed to move recklessly. It is designed to move with precision. Every emotional signal it receives is a message. Every hesitation is a data point. Every protective instinct is a reading of the unseen. When Cancer trusts its inner readings, even without external validation, it stops questioning its sensitivity and begins honoring it. This is when the soul learns the deeper truth of its nature. It was never fragile. It was tuned to frequencies that others cannot comprehend. The Oversoul also shapes the Cancer path through themes of home. But home for Cancer is not limited to a place. It is a frequency. It is the feeling of emotional coherence. Many Cancers spend early life searching for a home outside of themselves. They attach to people, environments, cultures, or memories in an attempt to recreate the resonance they sense within. But the Oversoul reveals over time that home is internal alignment. When the emotional body becomes balanced, the soul feels at home anywhere. When the emotional body is unsettled, no environment can provide true comfort. This realization transforms the Cancer path. The soul stops searching for its home and begins building it inside. Once this inner home is established, Cancer becomes a source of emotional grounding for its community. The late stage of Cancer reveals a tone that few ever see fully expressed. This is the phase where intuition becomes undeniable. The soul speaks in emotional truth without hesitation or fear. It no longer hides its depth. It no longer diminishes its knowing. It no longer absorbs unfiltered energy. It becomes an interpreter of what others cannot articulate. It reads emotional reality with precision. It senses the trajectory of relationships, the potential endings before they arrive, the unrealized intentions of others, the unspoken wounds within a lineage, and the memories waiting to surface within the Oversoul. This wisdom does not make Cancer detached. It makes Cancer compassionate. It understands the emotional struggles of others because it has walked through its own with relentless honesty. The Oversoul chose Cancer so the soul could reclaim intuition as a primary form of intelligence. The world teaches humans to value logic over feeling, but the Oversoul remembers that feeling was the first language. Cancer brings this language back into human awareness. It teaches the world that emotional truth is not weakness. It is insight. It is direction. It is memory. It is the Oversoul communicating directly through the body. When Cancer reaches its highest expression, it becomes a bridge between the emotional world and the spiritual world. It becomes the one who can hold, interpret, and translate the unseen currents that shape human experience. In the final refinement, Cancer discovers that its purpose was never to feel for everyone else. Its purpose was to feel with clarity, to sense without drowning, to hold without absorbing, to remember without reliving, to nurture without depleting, to listen to the Oversoul through the movement of internal waters, and to follow that guidance with unwavering trust. When Cancer reaches this state, the soul becomes the very sanctuary it once searched for. The emotional body becomes an instrument of discernment. The intuition becomes an unbroken connection to Oversoul intention. And the life becomes an expression of emotional wisdom that transforms everyone it touches.